minus 10 minutes. Minus 9 minutes. Minus 8 minutes. Minus 7 minutes. Stand by.
Hey everybody, sorry I had a little bit of a late start, which I know I've been a little late as of late just because of life. Just going to make sure that my mic doesn't sound fucking stupid. And it doesn't. It's my job to sound stupid, not the mic. And that looks a little choppy. My camera updated for whatever reason. I'm not sure why, and I use camo with my iPhone. Like, I know it doesn't have to be perfect for this sort of thing. Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm actually going to close this. Maybe it'll improve the frame rate. Like, I know I'm not doing a dance or anything, but yeah, whatever. It is what it is. So, yeah. The other thing I'm going to do is because I'm not wearing a headset, I am going to... God, lots of bots tonight, man. Holy shit. I want to actually hear my game on the TV. On the TV. I think that this new camo update sucks. Maybe I'll get like a PTZ camera or something. Like, as I say, I know it doesn't, like, I know I'm doing this frilly thing with my hands. I really don't care for... Like, I have a pretty powerful machine. It shouldn't be... whatever. So I got a new toy. I got... So I got one of those aftermarket 8-bit do or whatever the fuck you want to call it, controllers. Because two things. One, I was getting a little tired of the cables from my Saturn, because they're 30-year-old cables and they don't, they get a little grubby and stuff. And ultimately, of course, like, now this obviously is not going to replace permanently the controllers on my Saturn. I got the little receiver too. So they make a handy-dandy little kit whereby you essentially just open up the Saturn. Because what's cool is the circuit board, like the control board, is actually connected to the wire, but it's not actually hardwired to the controller shell. So you basically just open it up and take the cable and then go, and then it all comes out. And then there's a new board that has basically Bluetooth on it, and then you can pair it to the receiver that you already have. But the only place I can get it is from China, and I had to use PayPal because apparently my credit card says, oh, well, 8-bit Go is considered fraudulent, but other people have gotten theirs. PayPal is relatively safe, so if I don't get what I paid for, then I will just get it back. But yeah, so the plan... Yeah, I did a test. The responsiveness is not terrible. It feels a little different. I only played something quickly once. I will say that my thoughts were there was a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of a fraction, almost imperceptible lag. But the controller also feels different, and it may... I don't know. I'm gonna say it might be psychosomatic. I did a very, very quick test with Battle Arena Toshinden, which was probably a bad choice because its controls are pretty clunky to begin with. Then I ran... I don't remember what the fuck I ran. I don't remember what I ran. It was like yesterday. But yeah, I want to say no, not really. I felt that there was a lag, but it was so slight, it might have just been in my head because the controller feels different. But, I mean, this was really supposed to be a bit of a stopgap anyway, because my plan was, I knew I was going to have to wait for the 8-bit Do Saturn kit for me to modify my actual Saturn controller that you've seen me play with. But I wanted to have something now, rather than have to wait like a month or two or whatever for it to come from China. And I'm planning on buying a Steam Deck anyway. So I thought, okay, well, so I don't end up wasting money twice. I thought, okay, well, what I'll do is I'll get the 8-bit do Saturn receiver, which of course I have plugged into the Saturn, and then I'll pair the M30 aftermarket controller to the Saturn receiver. And until my conversion kit comes from China, then I'll just use this for now. And yeah, Battle Arena is absolutely a masher. Well, you couldn't have said it better, Vector Man. But the real test, I mean, fighting Vipers, I guess, is also kind of a button masher. But what we'll do is we'll try something a little bit more technical. You know how I do it, Vector Man. I just do like a warm-up game or whatever. But yeah, so my plan is when I get my Steam Deck, I'm going to de-pair or unpair this from my Saturn. And then I'm going to pair this via Bluetooth to my Steam Deck. And then what I'm going to do is then I'll just have the kit and modify my real controller. And then pair that. So that way, I've got a controller for my Steam Deck that I can play, that I can use this with my Steam Deck, and then I've got my kit. So what we'll do is, my neck. There was a guy in my jiu-jitsu class, and he was a wrestler. I think he's he's from Brazil. So he's like, well, you know, I haven't not done. So of course he's got. My neck is stiff because he's, you know, after all, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is Brazilian. So even if he's like, oh, I'm new at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, it's like, I don't fucking care. You're a wrestler, you're a grappler, and you're, you know, from the Southern Hemisphere. I'm fully expecting to have to, and he's definitely better than me. But that's okay. It was a fun class. I had a good, everybody's journey is different. All right, so let's try fighting Vipers to start with, and then we'll try a faster. I'm not gonna play probably through the whole game. We'll just see. So I'm using the M30. What I will say though is before I bought it, I watched a bunch of so-called reviews, and I don't even know why I bother, because a lot of the time it's these whiners and they're like, yeah, well, this is unacceptable and that's unacceptable and the controller's too small and my hands aren't that big. Well, you know what? My hands aren't tiny and they're not huge, and I think this is fine. I don't think that it's too small at all. I think it's fine. I was worried a sec. I thought you had a stroke on stream. What happened? Did it freeze or something? What happened? Anyway, I'll try this and we'll see how it is. I'm just gonna... Oh, I'm already in the game. I guess it got impatient with me. That's fine. I'm obviously playing as Grace. It just fucking started. Okay, so right now I don't really find there's much lag. It might be lag. My thoughts are the controller is a little... The controls feel a little... My instinct is to use the term, you were like squinting and looking as if you had to sneeze. Oh, yeah. I just do that when I'm thinking about what I'm going to say sometimes, and my friends make fun of me for it. Which is fine. It's funny. Yeah, my thoughts on this controller is it feels a little heavier than the normal Saturn controller off the top of my head. But I'm also trying to be fair because it may take some time getting used to. The buttons need a little bit more force. And honestly, I wouldn't normally lose that early on, but I'm trying... I don't know. I'm not really detecting any perceptible lag. It's so imperceptible that it really could just be... Maybe I should stop jumping up, eh? Obviously not working with this guy. Try something. Okay, there we go. Back kick. That was weird. Yeah, my thoughts are I don't really think there's any lag, but it does have a heavier action, and you have to depress the buttons a little bit more. So it creates the perception maybe of a lag. So I don't know. The jury's still out. This is a fairly fast fighter. It's not the fastest fighter I can think of. But it's a button masher, I mean, comparatively speaking. What we'll do is we'll try a more technical fighter like Dead or Alive or Virtua Fighter 2, and we'll see how that is. But I am not, controller or not, I'm not exactly having a shining success of things tonight, which is fine. Sometimes you're the hammer and sometimes you're the nail. That's not a bad thing. Losing, it's not a bad thing. Oh, that was not. Yeah, you know what? I want to say no, there's no lag. Or no perceptible lag. It's just the controller is heavier. A little heavier in terms of its action. So you have to match. But the controller, interestingly enough, feels better made than the actual controller. Nah, Dead or Alive is not. Well, the newer ones are. Actually, you know what? No, I would actually. Yeah, no, Dead or Alive is, I would say, is a bit more technical. The newer Dead or Alives. But I'm also pretty good at Dead or Alive, so. But I would say Virtua Fighter 2 is more technical. The second one is not as technical as the first. And the newer ones are more technical. Like from I will say that as you've seen, I'm not normally this bad here. So there might be something with the controller, but I'm going to say that I'm just not used to it. I definitely am having to adjust my moves. I don't feel the registrations as much. So I will say that it's not as obvious when something lands. It doesn't feel as responsive, we'll say maybe. But I know it is. There's not a lot of movement in the buttons, so you're not 100% sure if what you've got landed. But there isn't really any lag. There isn't really any lag that I can see anyway. But I think the real test is if we take something like Virtua Fighter 2, which is highly technical. Maybe we'll try that after. I haven't played it in a little bit, so. Yeah, so my assessment of the M30 is that it's a little harder to... It's a little heavier. I don't mean in terms of weight. It's just, doesn't feel as responsive, so it's not... There's more button travel, so it's not as immediately apparent if it lands, if a hit lands. But there isn't really any lag that I can see. It seems to be working really well. It just is taking a bit of. I think it's just getting used to it. I personally don't find it too small. I don't have small hands, so I really don't know what people are whining about. It's certainly bigger than a Super Nintendo controller. So I don't really know what the fuck people are whining about. I thought it was fine. Personally, I thought it was fine. I didn't have any. There is a game called Last Bronx. Last Bronx would be a good test too. And I'm actually pretty good at Last Bronx. I can load Last Bronx. We can load it after this. Last Bronx, in my opinion, is a better game than Fighting Vipers. Fighting Vipers is absolutely 100% a button masher. But what Fighting Vipers is like most Sega games, fighters, is fast. It's fast. So it's a good way to kind of... Yeah, I'll load Last Bronx after this. I'll play one other map. Yeah, so I guess this is kind of a little testy test. God, I really wish that I don't like what camo, like the upgrade of camo. Like it's actually made my video more choppy. Of me, I thought it was better the way it was before, and I didn't upgrade it. I just did it on its own. Like it's just a stream, so it doesn't matter, but it annoys me. It's fine. I'll finish this match with fucking tiger tail dipshit Fabio here, and then we'll move over to Last Bronx. And then, depending on how things feel with Last Bronx, then we'll move over to that was a lot closer than I wanted it to be, but okay, that is a winner chicken dinner. So I'm going to move this over to let's load Last Bronx. I'm going to load Last Bronx. All right, so here's Last Bronx. And this is a little more technical, and it's also fast. So we'll run it in arcade mode because that's... And usually I play as Nagi. Sometimes I play as Yoko. I'll play as Nagi. Yeah, so here's Last Bronx. God, that choppiness of the webcam is really annoying me. Okay. My initial perception is no perceptible lag. Just the controller feels different, that's all. The buttons have a little more travel, so it makes it feel. But once you get used to it, it's fine. So my assessment is there's no lag. No perceptible lag from what I can see. And the controller feels good. The controller is of higher quality materials. The buttons don't travel as much, so it's a little bit more difficult to tell if something lands. But honestly there's nothing wrong in my view with the action of it, and there's no lag from what I can see. I'm not finding it. I'm honestly just getting used to the feel of a new controller. And you know what? Anybody that was around in the 90s, you know, if you wanted more than one controller, like a lot of us, you know, like our parents were like, I'm not spending that much on an official Nintendo controller. If you want to, would you say more or less clicky? Less clicky. Much less clicky. In fact, if I pause, I don't really know if you can hear, I'll do it. Like this it's not as rattly. Because, I mean, the official Saturn controller sounds like a bunch of... well, there's no Smarties in the U.S. We have Smarties. They're like kind of like M&Ms in a box. American Smarties we call Rockets. Like the sort of sour, chalky candies that are in the roll. My ex liked Smarties, but they're called Rockets, the chalky ones in a roll. But we have something here called Smarties, and they're like M&Ms, but they come in a little box. So if you can imagine putting it in like a little box, like almost like a smaller Junior Mints box, and they rattle around. And I find that the Sega Saturn controller sounds like that. It sort of rattles around. If you pick it up and you shake it, it will. But all in all, I actually really like this controller, and So you've heard what the original Saturn controller or the M30? I don't know. I grew up in the 90s where there were lots of aftermarket controllers and the quality control on them was all over the map. And, you know, to be honest, when I think of aftermarket controllers, I think of standards far lower than this one. Oh, no rockets and Smarties, yeah. Well, actually, you do have rockets. Just in the United States, they're called Smarties, but those are rockets. And the same company makes them. They're just called rockets because we have Smarties. But it's the same thing. But if you come to Canada and you ask for Smarties, they're going to give you a box of the chocolate ones that Nestle makes. But if you ask for rockets, then you're basically getting American Smarties. I used to bring my ex and her kids. They would request that I bring stuff. So I'd bring like Aero bars and Smarties and stuff that you couldn't get. Ouch. But dating in upstate New York, man, don't recommend it, whether you're American or Canadian. Women down there, man, holy fuck. Yeah, the Mad Catz controllers just... I don't know if I would say that they were bad. They were very, very light, and they were kind of flimsy, and they were a little too fast sometimes. Now, the Mad Catz stuff I learned to hate. I didn't have too many issues with anything in the Super Nintendo era. They were fine. A little lighter, and they weren't my favorite, but technically they were fine. Like these were not horrible. But what I really didn't like is I didn't like in the original PlayStation era, I could not stand their fucking memory cards. Case in point, when Final Fantasy VII came, I mean the original Final Fantasy VII, not the remake. I had a Mad Catz aftermarket memory card. I had a 32 meg, I think. And something happened with, I don't know like what it was, but there was something wrong with it. And every time I got to Sephiroth, it would reset and not save and go past it. So I never, and then something happened with it. So every time I would get to Sephiroth and I would hit the final blow, it would go black, reset, and it was awful. So thanks to Mad Catz, I never actually finished Final Fantasy VII, even though I finished Final Fantasy VII. So I did all that work, beat Sephiroth, and then as soon as I delivered the final blow, it would just, there was some fucking thing and it would reset. Yeah, it was awful. I mean, you know, first world problems, right? That's really all it comes down to. But it still sucks. Because it's not like, you know, finishing any Square game, particularly in the 90s, was a walk in the park. You were burning a lot of fucking hours, man. And the internet was dial-up. Yeah. So, I don't know. I mean... You know, and you're in grade 7, your crush, you'd message them on fucking MSN Messenger or ICQ. Your mom would be yelling at you to get off the fucking phone line because she wants to make a call. I just need 20 more minutes to download this, Mom. Now! So I don't know. I mean, I think I'm pretty picky, but it's hard to get too worked up over this stuff as an old fart because, you know, the internet's amazing and super fast, and you know, and you buy a lot of these Chinese things on AliExpress, and a lot of it isn't very well made, but they work. You turn it on and it works. Like, you don't generally have to waste like 2 fucking hours, you know, or a weekend or whatever trying to figure out how to fix it. We had a 16 megabyte Mad Catz memory card for PS2 and the whole thing corrupt. Yeah. Yes. Those fucking Mad Catz memory cards. Yeah. Yeah, don't even get me started. Yeah, didn't even have it a year. Yeah. Yeah, doesn't take long, man. It's like the thing's pissing in the wind. It's like, fuck you. I'm not going to save your file. You can kiss my ass. You know what? Fuck you. You can kiss my ass. It's just, yeah, I don't know what to tell you. The memory cards were shit. There are a lot of things where you didn't really need to shell out for the genuine article you didn't need to have a Sony this or that or the other thing. But the memory cards, anything involving memory, like, you didn't really want to fuck around with it. I mean, at least with Super Nintendo, I mean, you didn't really have to worry too much. I'm trying to jump. It's being a little slow here, but I think that's just me. Yes, I lost. I can see that. This is... Okay, that was weird. Like, I executed a command and it just didn't do it. Like, it just ignored the command. But my guess is it's some kind of input confusion, because sometimes that does happen in this game. Not trying to... I also don't like this guy. I find with him, I either have a really good day and I finish him quick, and then other days, which clearly today is one of those days, you know, I get my ass kicked. Because he blocks and blocks and blocks, and he's got 2 knives. I don't like it when it's that close. I'll take the win. I will take the win, but I don't like